What's up, everybody? We are live at the Mid-America Truck Show, day one.
Yes.
We're here. We're ready. We've been looking forward to it. It is our Super Bowl, and I'm getting to bringing it live on Instagram now. But yes, we're here at the Truck Parking Club booth. Come on by and see us. It is booth 37223 in the South Hall. Also, if I can get a sound check, if you're watching live, wherever you're at, let me know how we're sounding, how the audio is coming through. This is a new setup.
One's in the chat.
Check 1, 2. But here we go. I'm with my good buddy over here. His name is Trucker DC. What's going on? Number one, what's
man?
up?
How you been, man?
Trucker DC. We got him on stage. Let's tell the people, who's Trucker DC.
Trucker DC. I drive a semi. Me and my wife, originally from Denver, Colorado, but now live in Kansas. So I met Mike over TikTok, and he came across a couple of my TikToks, just us showing our life on the road, and that's how we got in contact. Now meeting at Matt's, our first Matt's, and it's been going really cool. Really
Dude, good. I know. When did you first hear about Mid-America Truck Show? Like, who told you, like, oh, you got to come?
Yeah, so after the first one that we went to was the Guilty by Association, the Joplin 44 last year, we started looking at more truck shows, and Matt's was the biggest. I guess it's known as the Super Bowl for truck shows. And me being a car guy like in SEMA, I'm like, I got to come,
Let's go. So what? It's day one.
Yep.
What's the energy like here? What have you been feeling?
I like it. In here in the convention center feels a lot like a convention. They got a lot of brands releasing their newest products coming out by the end of the year or next year or whatever it may be. But then if you go outside, it feels more like a truck show. Got the show trucks. Got cool trucks in here too, but kind of out there in the parking lot feels more like a truck show, and from my experience.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I'd say, what's your goals overall coming to Mid-America Truck Show? What are you hoping to? What are you trying to accomplish? You think forefront of your mind?
Yeah. So we're just coming. This is our first Matt's. Really coming to network and just collab with the brands that we already connect with over social media. So it's nice to put a face to a name to a face to a name. We've talked a lot, but now meeting for the first time. So things like that, actually meeting the people that you're talking to over social media.
Yeah, no, this is the type of environment you want to be around. I'm a big advocate for people coming to Matt's as a way. I mean, these last couple of weeks have been interesting, I think, in the trucking world and in the freight market.
Mm-hmm.
What have you kind of been seeing, like, the conversations around fuel prices? I mean, how have you been navigating kind of the fuel price? Sometimes it's tough to get to Mid-America Truck Show. So, I mean, how you been navigating the fuel prices out there?
Well, I feel like as a trucker, you either have two sides of the coin. You have the truckers that say, if you're worrying about fuel prices, then you're not getting the loads that you need to be getting to have a profitable business, right? But then we have small business owners, like owner-operators, where a $6 per gallon tank is really going to affect your business. So we're hoping to see the prices come down, but luckily me and my wife have been getting good loads, and we've been on the more fortunate side to where we've been able to stay running.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Now team driving with your significant other. What's that like?
Yeah, so it's actually great. I'll be honest. So when I first started driving, I was solo, and then I partnered with another guy. We had a little bit of an age gap. He was a little older, but it was pretty cool. And my wife at the time was doing real estate, and she was like, hey, I keep looking over here because she's right here, but she was like, hey, what if I get my CDL and we can team drive? So 3-4 years later, I've been to all 48 states. We even go up to Canada. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, like, where's your favorite place to drive? Where's her favorite place to drive?
So I like driving like Midwest personally. Set the cruise nice and easy. My favorite part is right on I-15. There's a part that you're in, I think, Arizona or New Mexico. Then you go into Arizona and then Utah, into St. George, Utah. And there's a canyon there, and I love going through that canyon. Babe, where's your favorite place to drive? Right there? Yeah, so the same thing.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Western 11. Anywhere out there is freaking amazing. What's the speaking of freight, I mean, you said you've been hauling some good stuff. What's the most interesting freight you've hauled? Anything?
What should I say? Well, we do refrigerated loads. Mm-hmm. So I'd say the most interesting is in the medical field.
Oh, like pharmaceutical,
yeah,
pharmaceutical grade stuff. It's always interesting to see how that stuff makes its way across the country. I know that was like, especially when the COVID vaccine came out, I know that was like a big thing that people are looking to transport and everything like that.
Yep.
When it comes to refrigerated, what's your favorite part about being in the trucking industry?
Really just the traveling. So before trucking, I was a chef, and I never thought that my day life would be like changing, like inconsistency. However, now trucking, we're in a new state every day, and that really keeps you on your toes and makes you appreciate life. And I love to travel, so that's probably my favorite part at the moment. Yeah.
So a little bit of the change of scenery. That's good. Yeah. What was like your motivating factor to get your CDL? I know we've talked about this before, but like what? Because I mean, it's night and day. I never thought getting my CDL would take me to a place like Mid America Truck Show and like all the things you see. But what you said, you were a chef beforehand. What made you go from cooking to running miles?
So my dad has been in the trucking industry all my life, either long haul, whether it was an oil field or construction. And he's been trying to get me to get my CDL since I was 18. And then COVID happened. And at the time I was a chef, we had got laid off. So I had a couple months to play with. And I figured, you know what, might as well get it. Even if I don't use it, I'll have it, another tool for my tool belt. And so then I got my CDL, went to school and all that. And now we've been driving a few years later, and I love it. It was the best decision ever.
Let's go. Yeah. Now, when it comes to driving, our big campaign here at the Mid America Truck Show, by the way, which if you come by the booth, we've got T-shirts. Come show your CDL. We've got free swag for you inside and outside. But our big push here is about the end of ramp parking. That has been our big. We've been running with that motto. A big marketing push lately has been talking to warehouses about this. But so since you started driving, have you had to park on an on-off ramp at all?
I strictly don't like to, and we haven't had to. But there are a lot of trucks that have to, simply because we're fortunate where we're team. So we basically get to run 22 hours a day. So we plan around that, and we like to only stop at either truck parking club locations or truck stops if there's available parking. I don't like to stop at rest areas or off ramps because I drive with my wife. So it's really dangerous. And there's vehicles passing, so we really don't like to. But you see it everywhere. There's a lot of trucks that do.
Yeah, ramp parking is what we're trying to end. And again, if you need to stay off the ramp tonight, use the promo code RAMP25. Yep. Now, you guys are team drivers, and this is always an interesting question. Like everybody has a hobby, special interest. When I was off the road, I got really into running. Some people, we've got other guys, fit trucker Sean Smith. Big shout out to him. He rides unicycles when he's out on the road.
Yep.
He stays every on the unicycle.
The sit-ups on his bumper bar and all that. Yep.
Sit-ups on the bumper bar. What's one of your guys' hobbies? Like if you're not driving, anybody, you do some sewing, you do some. Who's got any hobbies you guys get into out there?
My hobby, I would say, is social media, creating, because you have so much time on your hand. So I do that, and she likes to read on her Kindle. She just got a Kindle. So those are really our hobbies, trying to get more into working out. I know that's an excuse for everyone. But yeah, that's really, at the moment, my hobby, really just social media at the moment.
Yeah. No, don't feel any pressure talking about fitness. We like to keep it light and fun. Ralph tuned in. He said the microphones are working great, but he says that I'm not working. Ralph, we need you here, Ralph, so we actually need to put Ralph to work to help us out there. But man, I mean, other than that, the excitement for the show is great. Again, there's a lot of new products and stuff rolling around. Where does Trucker DC? Where do you see yourself within the next, when we're back at Matt's 5 years from now? Where's Trucker DC? Where are you hoping to be at?
Yeah, so I'll definitely know a lot more people within the trucking community, making friends and building relationships along the way. And hopefully at that time we have a few trucks, if we're fortunate enough, to where we don't have to run our butts off like we do at the moment. Again, we're lucky enough to be able to do that, I will say. We don't have any kids or anything at the moment, but yeah, in 5 years, hopefully we see old faces and friends and relationships that we built throughout the years. So.
And now when it comes to creating content, which by the way, you can find Trucker DC everywhere, just search Trucker DC. What inspired you to start making content? Because I can tell you a lot of what brings drivers to these shows is curating content. What gave you the inspiration to be like, you know what, I want to make my own YouTube channel?
I've always wanted to. Even when I was a chef, I wanted to, but I thought the content would be a little mundane, even though people love food, things like that. But when it came to trucking, really, since me and my wife do it, I wanted to start it so that once we have kids, they'll be able to see what we did before they were even born. Basically what their parents did, kind of like a little history book. So I know that's a little cliche, but that's why I started, and it, I guess, resonated with a lot of people. The day in the life. I guess truckers like it, van life people like it, which is really popular nowadays as well. But that's the main reason I started, so that our kids could see what their parents did before we had them. So,
dude, I have that conversation with people all the time who think about starting content and like, how much money would you pay right now to see your great grandfather's podcast and like his YouTube channel? Go back just 100 years, like just going back 100 years. And I think about growing up with our family. I mean, there's plenty of like, especially growing up at between 5 and 10 years old or whatever, how many Sunday dinners you spend like looking at old photo albums. I mean, in essence, social media has become the new photo album as a way to see what you're doing, so your kids can see who you are and what you're doing. I'd love to hear the conversations from 100 years ago between my great grandfather and his brothers and what they were doing, especially in the trucking world and the trucking industry. So it's good you guys are making content on it, talking about it.
Because your grandfather started trucking, right, for your family, or?
Yes, technically it was my grandfather's grandfather. So my great him and his brother had started Lombard, and again, so like imagine hearing that conversation of going from horse and carriage to truck, and like seeing what that transition of freight moving like, and of course,
kind of like what we're seeing now with the diesel to electric.
Yeah, between diesel and it is kind of a similar transition. Again, and I'm sure the conversations back then had to do with infrastructure.
Right.
Where I think it's a little bit different nuance with it, but it's the same problem, different infrastructure, going from horse and carriage to truck, from diesel to electric, but the conversations kind of almost run parallel between them working. So it's the same thing. How do we get it? How are we going to make a transition? What are we going to do? Is this going to make it faster? Is it going to be better? Yeah. So it's like, what would give to have those conversations with people?
Yeah.
What have you been? You got a couple minutes? You got a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a few more minutes to rip.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what's been your biggest challenges, I'd say, over the road, like for you guys so far?
Yeah, so we're from Denver. So when we first started driving, we drove for FedEx Ground doing doubles and triples, and that's quite the way to start your career, as difficult as those are. Obviously, weather, even though we're both from the Midwest and used to driving in snow, driving in a semi or inclement weather in a semi is a lot more difficult, and at some points scary, whether you like to admit it or not. That's been an adjustment, as well as the hours. I mean, I was working 13 hours in the restaurant industry, but as you know, any of you guys know, when you're over the road, you basically work 24 hours as long as you're out there. So really just you something that you have to grow into and kind of adapt to, I would say, at a point. Yeah.
Sweet. What's your word? Okay, so to anybody who's at Matt's, true, but for any driver out there, what's the Trucker DC words of wisdom? If you can share a little bit of knowledge, spit something on the track for anybody watching, driver or non, what's your best piece of wisdom or motivation you want to leave for anybody?
I would say I'm pretty faithful, so I would say trust in God and thank Him every day for allowing you to wake up, the fact that you're healthy, and the same way I end all my videos. Let's hustle, let's ride, baby. Come on.
Let's go. Dude.
Yes, sir.
Let's have a great show. We'll get you back through here. Again, we're going to be live every day over the next 3 days, so you're free to come back whenever you want, especially talking about some updates. But, we're going to get Kevin Rutherford on here. He's over here. We'll have him jump on the show next, but I'll let you go enjoy the show, brother.
Yes, sir.
So great to have you on.
Thank you.
And we got high energy. We've just begun.
Just started. Day one.
day one, so we're
Yep.
keeping the energy high as we roll through it.
Yep.
But yes, you're free. Oh yeah, you have the microphone.
I got the mic. I think it is this one.
I'll take that off. We've got Kevin Rutherford over there talking with Hunter. We're gonna have him sneak on, so hang around if you're jumping in on the live.
I might have to ask him because I got DJI too. You guys let me know which mic it is.
Oh yeah,
Hello. Is it this mic?
yeah. Which microphone? Can you guys hear out of that microphone? Somebody's got to let us know live. Yeah, if you can't remember, if
They're literally
the backing on it. Ours has the solid, I think. So.
Oh, they're interchangeable.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Is this one connected to that? Let's see.
Oh yeah, try turning one on, turning one off.
See.
But anyways, guys, wherever you're tuning in from, let us know where you're tuning in from. Drop it in the comments below. Again, we're live from the Mid-America Truck Show, booth 37223.
Okay.
Got it? Sweet. We've got Kevin Rutherford's finishing up a conversation with Hunter right now, and we're going to get them on over here. But any questions you guys have, comments, concerns, what have you, let us know in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. But other than that, we're excited. Fourth year in a row for me coming to Mid-America Truck Show. This is one of the best community events in the industry. I'm a community-driven guy. If you want to succeed in anything, humans have only succeeded by working in groups. And this is just me spitting some philosophy real quick. Humans have always, to win, to survive, we've always had to team up and form up so we can get food, shelter, survive, build shelter. And in fact, you know, if you were out there solo on your own, that's how you don't make it. That's when you're most vulnerable. So again, finding a tribe, find a community who you can build off of it, whether it's virtual or in person, but coming to the end, nothing can replace, especially in this industry, that human connection, that human interaction with building relationships with people and everybody you know. If you are at the Mid-America Truck Show, we also have got Gordon McGill over here promoting his new book. But here we go. Coming up on the stage, Mr. Kevin Rutherford, the legend himself. What's going on, brother?
All right. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Love this.
Sending it live.
Real radio here. Just go right into it.
Yeah, this is Groundhog Day for you.
Yeah.
Jumping right into it. So yeah, what have you been up to?
Groundhog year. This is year number 36 for me.
36.
36 years.
Let's go. What's your morning look like so far? What have you been getting into?
You know, after all these years, so 36 years total, from 99 on, I've done some sort of a seminar or event here every year. This is my first year not to do anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So you finally just like
stuff like this. I've got, podcast people want me to stop in on. But other than that, I'm a free agent.
oh, that's got to be a good feeling.
It
I mean,
is.
it's kind of like loosening the belt buckle at the end of the day. You can just kind of free reign, free roam. That's exciting. So no talk this
Free
year.
range.
Yeah.
That's right. Free.
Yeah, free range. Now, if you were going to give a talk this year, what would you been talking about? What have you been? What's been high on the Let's Truck?
Fuel mileage obviously is a big deal.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's talk fuel. Yeah,
Yeah. So, when we get up around that $5 a gallon, the math actually gets pretty easy. There's a lot you can do with fuel. A lot. We could talk about it for weeks. The single thing anybody can do is just slow down. And I know that the attitude is, I got to run hard, more miles, just slow down. Fuel is this expensive. But here's the math. For every 1 mile per hour you slow down at this fuel price, you save $1,000
a year.
1 mile per hour.
So going from 66 to 65. Sorry, actually, for the kids out there. So going from 68 to 67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're saving $1,000 a year just by 1 mile an hour.
1 mile an hour. And you don't notice 1 mile an hour. So what I tell people, because you kind of get hooked on running 70, 75. What I tell people is that when you set your cruise, set up 1 mile per hour goal. Don't notice the difference. If you're going to set it at 75, set it at 74, 69 instead of 7. And then in a week or two, do it again. Pretty soon you get down into that reasonable range, running around 60 or so. And when you tell somebody that, I'll never get anywhere. You'll be just fine. It's just consistency. All it is.
Man, it's funny. That same philosophy you just shared is exactly what I tell people about if and how they want to stay healthy. Hey, just pick one thing, do that over time. Okay, just go walk for 10 minutes, do that for a while. So yeah, go slow down by a couple minutes.
And here's what you probably see. People get to the point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're going to do something. So they go get a gym membership. They go buy a bunch of gym clothes. They learn all these different workouts, and it lasts a month in January, and then they quit because it's overwhelming because they try to do too much of it. It's the same thing.
Exactly. It's the same kind of, yeah, when the fuel goes up, all of a sudden you try to.
Now it's panic, and and they try to do so much, and this should be at the top of their mind all the time. If you own a truck, it's your biggest expense. It's also the one you have the most control over.
Fuel is the one because you can't control insurance. You can't control rates.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be able to impact. I tell people if you know what you're doing with relationships and negotiating and knowledge, you might be able to affect the rate by about 10%. You might be able to get that 10% better, but that's it. 90% of it is just what the market's doing.
Exactly. Well said. Oh, a little photo? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're getting a little photo ops here, a little live on the scenes from Brent Hutto. But yeah, so what are some of your goals for Mid-America Truck Show? Who are you looking to connect with? I mean, I know you're free range, but what do you got on the docket?
The best part about it for me, like I go around all our partner companies and I'll hang out and I'll talk with them. That's always fun. What I love are the random meetings in the aisle. Mm-hmm. If you've been coming here for 36 years, you've been doing what I do, people recognize you. That's my favorite part, just to walk up and down the aisles and see who I run into.
Yeah, the organic meetups for people. Which, by the way, Ralph from Ralph's Trucking, he's a good friend. He's met you a couple of times. He says what's up in the chat. He says, yeah, keep the left door shut to get places. It doesn't matter how fast you go. So that's your favorite? Like any trucks you're looking forward to seeing? I mean, who's here that you're looking to? Any rigs outside you're looking for?
Normally what I would be looking for would be what the OEMs are doing next. What's coming up, but they're really not here anymore. The one truck we are really watching is International. And International's been out of the game for a while. They've had a rough, and I bet it's almost 20 years now. Their new truck and new engine. So that the average truck in the industry still gets like 6.7 miles to the gallon is the average. Steve Crone, a good friend of mine, just built a new International. It's not broken yet. It's doing 12.02.
12.02.
Now that's not one run that we cherry. That was his latest 30-day average.
30-day average.
He's running dry van freight, nothing special. It's not like it's all potato chips or something. It's just whatever freight he's getting off the roads, and he's breaking 12 miles to the gallon.
Now speaking of trucks, so International 12 miles a gallon, and I've noticed they've had a marketing push. A good friend of mine was in one of their commercials recently. Her name's Trucking with Aubrey. She filmed a commercial with them, so they seem to have a big marketing push. When it comes to conversations are coming up now with electric. What do you have to say about EV? What's going on? What's the latest on that?
Yeah, so what surprises me about this, I get why autonomous is so controversial in our industry, because that puts people out of work. I mean, I get that. What I didn't understand was why electric is so controversial. The only thing that makes any sense is because we politicized. The big green move, and they pushed it on us hard. My point has always been, electric will become a good option. And it's an option. That's what we want it to be. We want it to be an option. We don't want the government forcing it down our throats, or the dealers telling us we have to sell so many of these. And that's already failed. I think that electric has a lot of promise, as long as it's a choice and it's not forced on us, and we can make the choice when it makes financial sense.
Yeah,
we don't know that yet.
Make it competitive.
Correct.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet. That's the biggest problem. We've been talking about the trucks, but nobody has any details. What's electric going to cost us?
Yeah, we don't know yet. It seems to be the jury seems to be out on it.
It is. Nobody has any good answer on what it's going to cost. Because that's the whole game. If it's not more cost effective, why would I bother?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what else did you want to get into, jumping on?
Why don't we talk about health?
Yeah, I'm always down to talk a little health and fitness.
And I like, those are two different things. And I like the way when you say it, that they're two different things, and we mix them together too often. There's health, and then there's fitness.
Oh, yeah.
There are healthy people who aren't very fit the way we think of fitness. In fact, at the moment, I'm one of them. because I've spent way too much time in the last year staring at a computer screen, working on stuff, doing too many shows, doing too much, and not taking care of my fitness. But I always take care of my health. Health is 95% diet. That's all health is. If you get your diet right, you can be healthy. Fit is what you do. Fit is either cardio or resistance training or both, and getting stronger and fitter. And I think what happens is when we lump them together, we lose them. It almost goes back to that same thing. It's too much. It's too overwhelming. Pick one. If you get fit, then eventually you'll start eating better. If you start eating better, you'll have some energy and you might go do the things you need to be fit. But don't confuse the two and become overwhelmed.
And try to it's crazy because that's what happened. There's a big difference between me and my wife on that. Like me, I started the movement first, the fitness first, and then it transcended into diet. My wife dialed up what she was eating, and now she's getting ready for a 10K, and it's like that's the thing. She coordinated and finished up with her diet and health and with cutting out unnecessary foods. It killed her cravings. Focus on that, and now it's moved into fitness. And yeah, when you try to overhaul your entire lifestyle, it's too much for you.
And especially in our market with drivers, who their whole life is chaos anyway. I mean, it's one thing when you're home on a set schedule to start a workout routine. Most people fail at that. Numbers are horrendous.
Exactly.
Now take somebody that lives this lifestyle and try to do that. That's why what you've done has been so inspiring, because you've done exactly that.
Yeah.
You've made it work even with this lifestyle.
And it's credit, and I tell people all the time, I recommend David Goggins' first book because he drives home this point about time management. And, like you talked about controlling your fuel efficiency, people in this, people have their opinions on ELD, hours of service, but we're not, you can't change it overnight. They're probably not going to go away. ELDs aren't going to disappear. We can't put the lid back on. So how can you make it work for you is you can make those hours of service. And reading that book just totally flipped the key in my brain of doing the Teddy Roosevelt quote with do what you can with what you have where you are. And that's it. If you've got 20 minutes here,
then do something.
You've got it here. If you're at a receiver for 3 hours, you've got time.
Now, I'm not sure if you're finding this or not on the more fitness side of it, but on the health and diet side, when I first started talking about this, the response from drivers was, you can't do that on the road. And I convinced them, you absolutely can. Let me show you how. You know what's flipped? Now what the drivers tell me when they'll be asking me something about their health, and they'll say, look, when I'm on the road, I'm really strict at this stuff. It's when I go home, I fall off the wagon now. So it's almost like it's completely reversed. I would say the same thing about working out. When you're on the road, you can't go home. What else is there to do? At home, you got family, you got friends, you got parties. There's always something going on. If you're on the road, I think it's easier to do all this stuff.
That's kind of how it felt for me. Like going home was almost like my time off from exercising, where if I'm out 2-3 weeks at a clip, I'm making every day count with movement. And then coming home was like the risk factor of wanting to go out, wanting to do all these things. Yeah, have to go to birthday parties and all these different events.
Yeah, the typical driver, when he's on the road, he eats ribeyes and eggs. When he goes home, he goes to a party, and at the minute he won't eat the cake, everybody's telling him, why won't you eat it? They say it's so much easier on the road.
Yeah, because there's no outside distractions.
There's no peer pressure.
Yeah, no peer pressure. Nobody's digging into you on, oh, you should do this. Why not? Why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you doing XYZ? Well said. No, health and fitness is super important. I mean, and again, when you do it, and again, good to separate it. But even the diet factor, when you do clean up your diet, you clean up your overall cognition rises and your brain fog reduces. So when it comes to slowing down, like you said with fuel efficiency, you're more mentally capable and mentally sound to make that decision. So where slowing down isn't going to upset you. I'm not going to get anywhere faster. Like it's just, I think it changes your mindset and a lot of things about, because really just in life, like with cortisol levels and everything, when you're go, it ends up leading to disaster.
What we call stress is nothing more than the fight or flight mode we've had forever. That's what stress is.
Mhm.
Anything that triggers us into that mode is what we refer to as stress. The problem is, as hunter-gatherers, it happened rarely and it was over quick. You know, the fight or flight response is so that you don't die. You know, we were not at the top of the food chain.
Mhm.
Other things tried to eat us. You know, if something was chasing you, that's what the fight or flight mode was all about. You either turned around to try to kill it or you ran away from it. It happened and then it was over. And then we went back into our rest and digestion. The problem with our current lifestyle is everything triggers the fight or flight mode. And it's constant stress. It cortisol levels are through the roof. When you mention brain fog, what people don't understand is inflammation is behind almost every disease.
Mhm.
In our body, we know when we're inflamed. My knee hurts. My skin's inflamed. I can see it. Our brain has inflammation too, but we can't feel it. Our brain has no pain receptors. So it shows up as brain fog and our thinking isn't clear, but we don't correlate that with. That's just our overall health. You're just metabolically sick, and none of your organs are functioning optimally. And your brain, even though it's like 2% of our body weight, uses 20% of our energy
Yeah, just to function.
just to function.
And yeah, when you're in that constant state, and it is, yeah, everything with inflammation. Yeah, everything is.
It's inflammation. That's what disease is. And in our brain, we don't feel it as pain or inflammation.
Mhm. No, well said. So, what do you do to keep reduce inflammation? What are some Kevin Rutherford tips?
Honestly, inflammation is 99% diet. There's very little I do besides that. A couple of therapies I could talk about, but and to kind of simplify the food without getting too deep into all of it is the one thing I encourage people to do, no matter where you are. Try to eat only single ingredient food. Don't get too crazy about all the macros right now. I mean, we could dig down into all of it, but don't overwhelm yourself.
Mhm.
Start eating food that does not have an ingredient list at all. People will say, well, what kind of ingredients should I watch out for? Well, the easiest way is only eat foods that are one ingredient.
Yep.
Beef is beef. Broccoli is broccoli. An egg is an egg. And if all of your diet is single ingredient food, you'll be healthier than 90% of the population.
Absolutely.
And that's, if you want to know more, there's more we could do. But if you do that, you put yourself in the top 10% in almost no time.
And I'm lucky because that's the path. When I started changing what I ate, that was the path I kind of put myself on without even kind of it was kind of a coach I was working in a warehouse at a time when I like started my weight loss journey, and the coach at this gym kind of told me, oh, when you grocery shop, go for XYZ, because I went to it just very ignorant, like not knowing anything.
Now, let me stop you.
Yeah.
Not only were you ignorant, we all were ignorant. It's worse. We were lied to for decades.
Oh, yeah.
Brainwashed about how we should live, and it couldn't have been more wrong.
Oh, between
It'd
the
be
food
one thing,
pyramid,
yeah, and low fat and all that, plant-based, we were not meant to eat that. But we were so brainwashed. Had we just been ignorant, it would have been a whole lot easier. We have to undo decades of what people have been told about health.
100%. I mean, how many? I can only think across the years. Like it's like every couple of years, 1 minute eggs are the wonder food. They're like a miracle drug, and then the next minute, oh, eggs are killing you. And it's like it's just changed back and forth.
And the marketing is pervasive, and we all believed it. And all we have to do is stop and think. Human beings were outrageously healthy for hundreds of thousands of years, and all of their food had to come from nature. There were no ingredient lists. There were no chemicals produced in a factory. We didn't have pharmaceutical drugs. And the minute I tell somebody that, you know what their response is? Well, but humans only live to their 30s.
Yeah, they only live that long.
Yeah, but can we put that myth to bed finally? Here's why. Averages. The average human lived to 30. So we have to think about something. If you broke your leg, it was a death sentence.
Yeah.
But it gets worse. When did women start giving birth? 13 or 14, because that's when they're biologically capable of giving birth. And birth was wildly dangerous. The woman died many times, or the girl died, and the baby died. What does that do to your average?
Lowers the average.
Here's what
Yeah.
we know if you ignore the averages and just look at the record. If you avoided, well, we also had other animals that tried to kill us.
Mhm.
Other humans killed us. We fought amongst each other. If you avoided all those things, the human body easily lived to 100.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
It lived to 100 with no medications. We just had to avoid all the dangerous stuff that killed us. Well, now none of that stuff kills us much anymore. But we lived to 70 or 80, but we're sick most of that time.
Yeah. Last 10, 15 years.
We're 30 or 40 now. We have 20-year-olds that are type 2 diabetics. We have 10-year-olds that are type 2 diabetics. That used to be called adult onset diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Type 1 was called juvenile diabetes because that's autoimmune. Type 2 was called adult onset because it took you decades to develop.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not yeah.
Now we have
people-
kids who will be a type 2 their entire life.
Yeah, younger and younger it's become. Yeah, it's kind of I love going down these, and I'm glad it's on the live stream too, because I think this is important information, especially for drivers, because what I harp on the most, and luckily, if you're at Mid American Truck Show, Project 61's here. They're getting a lot of health data regarding drivers to the survey. So head on over.
Can I hate to do this?
Oh no, jump in.
That number,
Mhm.
I used it for years.
Yeah.
To realize it doesn't exist.
What the average life
61.
expectancy?
Doesn't exist.
Going to
Now
that,
it
'cause
could be worse.
Yeah. I think it might
It
be
could be worse
because this is old data.
Correct.
It's based off of older data.
Here's what happened. Well, it's based on no data. That's the problem. The FMCSA director, and I can't remember his name, in 2010 was doing a big presentation to the industry, and he made that claim. And nobody knows where he got it. But somebody went back and did the research. He said that he said, I got it from the CDC. It doesn't exist in the CDC.
Mhm.
There are no records on truck driver deaths. OIDA at one point said their members died at an average of 57. But then that 61, 59 gets thrown out everywhere. There is no data. Doesn't exist.
Yeah. So
I've tried to do the work. I wanted to come up with what is the real number? Where did this come from? Because my guess is it could actually be worse. But we can't.
That's what I
prove
think.
it.
Yeah, we do. That the data is still out on it, which because I think it is hard to get. I think it's hard to get that true number.
I'm not sure it exists. I'm not sure anybody collected that specific piece of data.
Yeah, I have to leave it to Jeremy and Mark see what they're able to find
Yeah.
with some of that data.
Yeah.
Be to relay on. But yeah, they're doing good. They're doing good stuff with it. And I think that these conversations are especially important because of, as you said, lifespan, health span, those last remaining years.
That's the one. Just throw out the whole lifespan thing. Let's just talk about their health span.
Mhm.
I've watched people, and you probably have too. Now, you were the opposite. I've watched people come into this industry a normal body weight and healthy, and in 5 or 10 years, they're a physical wreck.
Yep, that's the. I'd say that's the standard.
Yeah.
And what stinks is getting back out of that, because again, I've had to crawl back out of that. Is unlearning, thinking that as you get older, you're going to get worse, and it's just not true. You can
It's
start,
not true at all.
and you could do it, and you could do it as a driver. You could do it. I mean, I know pilots who do it. It's never, and you do, and again, separating health and fitness, as I've said multiple times, like you don't need to run marathons. You don't need to do anything. And in fact, I would discourage people from doing it because it costs you too much money in running shoes and time. So you don't have to do that. But health is something you can control, just like your fuel economy.
Yeah, it's just your habits that you do every day, and you don't have to change them all at once. But if I could say one thing, it's try to eat as much food that only has one ingredient as possible. Don't get too crazy. We could talk about macros and keto and all that other stuff, and it works. But start there.
Yeah.
Just start eating food with one ingredient and make it mostly animal. It really does work way better. We could not survive on plants in the wild.
Exactly.
We would die. That should tell us that
Yeah.
if people think, oh, when you get completely plant-based, you're going to be, no, you're not going to be healthy.
You'd
You're
have
going
to.
to have all kinds of new issues you didn't even know existed.
The argument for that, they're like, well, look at a gorilla, like look at what gorillas eat, and it's like, well, gorillas have to eat.
80% of the time they're awake.
Yeah, they have to eat the whole time, just like cows.
Right.
Their entire day is eating.
It's eating. Yeah, and it's not even enjoyable.
Mhm.
When I get to eat, it's going to be a ribeye and eggs, and I enjoy every bite of it.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
make it something good.
Yeah.
Well, any last bit of Rutherford wisdom to lay on the track before? I know we got a couple drivers looking to come on here.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah.
Any last bit of Let's Truck motivation?
Yes. Here's my big theme this year, probably going forward. I help people with their business, their fuel mileage, their retirement accounts, their taxes, their health, a lot of different things, their business. I have come to the conclusion that the single most important factor for your success in all of those areas is nothing but
Mindset.
mindset. That's it. That I don't care. I get people come to me 31 years of driving, not a single accident, one of the best drivers you can ever find. They're one of the worst people I try to coach in business.
Mm-hmm.
I get the guy who doesn't even know the difference between a fifth wheel and a steering wheel, and I can make that guy successful every time. I've got a guy in my coaching now. The first sentence he said to me, I hadn't even known him 10 minutes. He was trying to get into my coaching program, and I was pumped. I had turned it off. And he said, look, he said, I need this. He said, I know nothing about trucking. I will eat as much shit as I have to eat to make this work. And I said, I'm going to put you in my coaching program because I can make that person successful at anything.
Mm-hmm.
If one human being can do something, aren't we all probably capable of? And so what's the difference?
Yeah, nothing separates
It's
us.
just our minds.
Absolutely, mindset going into it. Believe in it. In fact, I think we've got one of your proteges who's about to come on the live stream.
Is that Ilya?
That's Ilya right there. Ilya, you ready to jump on or what?
I'm not up to that.
All right.
Yeah, mine was at 2:30.
Where are you headed?
Truck stop.
Oh, okay. What?
I was just down there.
You guys were just over there trading up. Well, then we'll BS with Chris Thomas for a little bit.
Yeah, I'll remember that.
All right, sweet. Kevin Rutherford,
Had a great
thank
time.
you for coming on. Get the
Keep doing
microphone.
what you're doing.
Hey, man, you too.
No, I was
Oh, you
going to
could.
dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah, this could get for dinner. DJI microphones. It's hard to look at the camera and the computer and the comments. We got Chris Thomas finally coming on the live stream.
What is up, my friend?
Tell the people, who are we talking to right now?
I'm Chris Thomas. I've been in trucking for 21 years. I'm an owner-operator leased to Autumn Transport. I do pneumatic dry bulk freight.
All right, what's your name on the internet, though?
Indie Trucker, INDIE Trucker. It's not because I'm from Indiana. It's like that play on the independent, indie film, indie music, indie trucker.
Indie Trucker. There we go. How many mats has this been for you?
At least 11 or 12.
11 or 12. When,
Yeah.
Well, okay, what was year one?
2010.
What did Matt's 2010 look like compared to today?
Well, Matt's 2010, you had all the truck manufacturers here. Like Western Star, International, Freightliner, Volvo. They were all here. All the truck stops were here. Pilot, Loves, everybody's here. There was a lot more things going on. A lot of sales focus on, probably the independent owner operators and small fleets. Kind of seemed to take a dip right there around COVID, and seems to be coming back. Seen Kenworth here this year. See Cummins is back with a big booth, so that's some good signs there.
Yeah, Cummins is right next to us.
Yeah.
Well, now you're okay. Let's put on our tinfoil hat for a moment. Okay, why isn't Peterbilt Kenworth here? We're gonna speak right to Peterbilt Kenworth right now.
Kenworth.
Okay, Kenworth's here. Sorry, we don't. And I'm a W9 respecter myself. I can still float at 18 speed. Come on. Shout out to our boy. Shout out to Kelly,
Oh yeah,
our guy down there in Central Texas.
Kelly's
all right.
work.
So Peterbilt's not here. Volvo's not here. Western Star International, are they here?
I don't think they're here either.
I don't know either. They've got it, but we were just talking about International with Rutherford. Why do you think they're not showing up?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know. I really do not know why they're not here. I think they should be here.
Any guesses?
Kentucky is a great place to come and do business.
Kentucky is a great place to do this. Let's talk. You're from Kentucky.
I am.
Let's
That's
talk
why.
about
That's why I'm here so much, because it's 2 hours from the house.
Let's talk about Kentucky. Why do you love Kentucky so much?
I'm seventh generation Kentucky. So this is home. I've been here my entire life. I've lived in some part of Kentucky my entire life. I've lived in eastern Kentucky most of my life. I lived in northern Kentucky for a while before I got into truck driving. I started truck driving when I was in northern Kentucky. I was also 911 dispatcher up there before I got into the truck. So Kentucky to me, it's just, it's a great place. You grow up and, I hadn't seen a whole lot of the rest of the country, but now I've seen the entire 40, well, I've seen 48 states, and a good portion of Canada, and I'm always glad to come home.
Always glad to come back to Kentucky. Let's go. Now, let's see. What are you looking forward to most? Okay, so 2010 Max was the first one. What are you looking forward to most about 2026 Mid-America Truck Show?
For me, I think being a younger owner-operator, I always come here for knowledge. And I still come here for knowledge. I'm still interested in seeing what's going on, seeing if there's anything new that I haven't seen before. And, often there is. There's some kind of new technology. But it's really the people. For me, it's become the people. I just know so many people that I've met over the last 5 years, and I get to come here, and it's like a big family reunion.
Let's go. There we go. So community. I was just talking about community before Kevin Rutherford had jumped on. So how important is community for you working in trucking?
Community's humongous, right? Most of us, we spend countless hours, days, weeks alone out there on the road. And we might not get to talk to somebody other than on the phone conversation unless we just happen to run into them or bump into them. And this is really nice. You kind of come here and get refreshed and recharged, talk to your friends, just, get a good time. And you can't really pick a better place to Louisville, Kentucky to come and hang out.
No, you can't. I mean, what were you guys doing last night? Talk to us about last night, the pregame for Matt's.
So last night I come and hung out with Taylor Parker at Taylor Bill.
At Taylor Bill, everyone on the internet.
I got to stay over at his camper with him and his wife. And we were out there just having a good time, just catching up. And Tony Justice come by about midnight. Him and Taylor was out there singing and playing and picking on guitar about 2 in the morning. I'm sure their neighbors loved it. But,
the Tony Justice?
The Tony Justice. So I got a little private concert there for us. And boy, it's something else. Just get there and sit there. And that they've known each other for a long time. And Tony's been big in the industry and big name and doing a lot of good things. So is Taylor. And it's just good to get to hang out with them and, hear some stories, hear some music. It's a cool thing. It's a cool moment.
Let's go. So, see, still a little bit old school that's coming by Mid-America Truck Show. So, yeah, where the manufacturers and the truck stops aren't here. Well, funny enough, the truck stops aren't here, but Truck Parking Club's here. We're here. Again, and, no disrespect to any, we know Loves is out there adding more truck parking. We're trying to add more truck parking every day. Our big campaign here, once again, if you're just tuning in the live stream, we want to end ramp parking. We hate ramp parking. We need to demolish it. It needs to be destroyed from within, from every single angle, and we're helping out everywhere we can to end ramp parking. Chris, what have you been seeing? Have you ever had to park on an on-off ramp?
I think early on in my career, I parked there because everybody else did, and this is like 21 years ago. So truck parking's always been a problem. The problem with ramp parking is if you're in an accident, you're not in a safe, secure spot. It's questionable whether the insurance company is going to cover any kind of damages you may incur outside of a legal space. This is the same thing that happened in the rest area. If you're parked outside the lines, a buddy of mine, they put him out of business. He was parked at a truck stop and he was outside the lines on end cap at the rest area. And, that's typical MO. You're not telling truckers anything they don't know. There's nowhere to park. So you're tired and you're looking somewhere to get legally parked for the night, or just somewhere you can legally stop down the road. And, basically, he was run over by another truck coming around there, and there was enough room, but it doesn't matter. You're outside the spot. So, you kind of look from a liability standpoint. Could I park here or should I park here? A lot of people end up parking there because they just don't know that there's somewhere else to park. For me, Truck Parking Club's really come in clutch over the years, especially if I'm going to an area where I know that it's a tight market, East Coast, Southeast Florida, any of the big major metros. If I know that I can get there and I can get a safe parking spot, that allows me to push my clock harder the day before, maybe get parked up the day before. Maybe if I'm coming out of the house, I can sit there and come out a little bit later because I know I can drive late, get somewhere and safely park. So it's really just a tool. It's a really good tool. And, we know about the, some of the online hate, taking up available parking that was already free. But there's no such thing, in my opinion, in free parking. Free parking comes and goes, and it's come and gone for years. That empty lot's not always going to be empty. They're going to sell it. The owner of that property is going to sell it at some point. So if you can motivate and get more parking out there, it just makes more sense.
Yeah, I think, and it's good to always bring it up. It's part of the conversation. There's, I know this. You find those hiding places, and people have mentioned that. But eventually those property taxes come due, and real estate's developing everywhere. I live in Austin, and there's certain areas of Austin that were when I first moved, we lived off of 183 near Cedar Park, and where we lived, I know, born and raised Austinite, he said that growing up there was just a road there.
Yeah.
And there was that, it was just all still like rolling kind of hills, and now it's got an apartment, Sam's Club, this strip malls, all that sort of stuff, and it's only a matter of time before that stuff happens. And again, property taxes come due, but the truth is as you add more truck parking, and again, as you said, there's really no such thing as free. There's still taxpayer dollars that goes towards maintenance and everything to keep it open. And I know nobody's here saying that, if all parking, we're not here saying all parking needs to be paid, but when you add more to the supply, things start to become a little bit more affordable. And as we had Kevin Rutherford on here earlier, when things become more competitive, and as things become more competitive, then you're going to find more places that will be cheaper, affordable, free. So much so, there's some online guff, and if anybody is watching us online, and we don't hide. We're here. We're on the live stream. You can come by the live stream. We're at the booth. We don't hide from our customers and from anybody else out there who wants to find out about what we're doing, because there's so much we're doing when it comes to this issue.
For my part, my experience with Truck Parking Club, virtually all of my bookings have been at spots that have never been available for everybody. You and I, we parked at the warehouse out in Las Vegas on our trip out west. I parked in Nebraska last week outside of a car record yard. They had some nice parking right up front there, easy in, easy out. Because Lincoln, Nebraska, after 9 o'clock at night, there's not too many good spots available. The truck stops west of town, they're all filled up. So it was a nice, quiet spot. And that's really the big thing to me is if I know that I have a parking spot and I can go another 30 minutes that day, I'm going to go. It's worth it for me. It's just part of doing the business.
Let's go. Now, big talk has been fuel.
Yeah.
Fuel's been big. What have you been doing navigating the fuel fiasco that's kind of been triggered by the Operation Epic Fury?
Yeah.
It's been going up.
So,
what have you been doing? Have you slowed down? Rutherford said?
Yeah, I've been going slow for a while. Cost operates where it's at. At the end of the day, you've got to know your numbers and why the cost operates the business. I've been kind of flabbergasted watching everybody still going 75, 80 miles an hour down the road, just like fuel's free. It's a pretty tight market, so anytime that you can save fuel, I just go a little bit slower. And, everybody's like, well, you can't get nowhere going 65 miles an hour. I knock out 670 to 710 miles every day. Just keep that left door shut, and, I can maximize, get down the road a little bit further if I can find a parking spot. And that adds up at the end of the week. It gets me a little bit further down the road, gets me a little bit closer to that next delivery, that next load.
Kevin Rutherford just came on here and said that if you reduce your speed by 1 mile per hour, that is $1,000 a year in fuel savings alone.
Especially right now.
1 mile an hour will be $1,000 in savings for the year. What's the highest fuel prices you've seen so far? You've kind of been going up and around. What's the highest you've seen out there?
So with my discount, the highest I've paid in the last 2 weeks is probably about $5.40 a gallon. I have seen it listed on the pumps for $6.49 a gallon for diesel. I believe it's going to come back down this week. Last time I checked, I haven't seen, but it was dropping down. So that's the way it's going to be. It's going to be up and down for a bit. I don't think it'll be a long-term thing where we see the prices elevated for a long time. But even if it isn't, it's not going to come back down to where it was last December. December, I was getting fuel for $2.42 a gallon out in Iowa. So, fuel's kind of changed there. Hopefully you had it in your contract, get a fuel surcharge increase. That updates weekly. That's been very important. But yeah, you should be looking at your cost to operate year round, just all the time, because you just never know what's going to happen. Not just one truck, but even the big fleets. You kind of have to mimic the big fleets where it makes sense. It always makes sense in the cents per mile on the cost of operation.
Cents per mile. There we go. So you're dodging the fuel. What are you looking forward to? Or no, we already see that. You're looking forward to community. What's your favorite part about truck?
The best way to put it, me, is I'm somewhere that I wasn't the night before much of the time. Sometimes it's the same place I've been, maybe 100 times. Sometimes it's the first time that I've been there. You wake up and it's that sense of adventure and exploration. I've been over the road most of my career. I've traveled all over the country, and I've got to see things most people don't get to see. So for me, it's just that sense of adventure. But even when I'm on the dedicated lane, there's a sense of pride knowing that I've driven millions of miles down the highway without causing an accident and delivering many, many loads, no problems.
It's because I know we talked about this when I was over the road with you. People like to comment on some of your posts saying you make trucking look easy.
That's definitely comes with time. I used to always be amazed watching these old guys get out of their trucks, and I'm a magnet for grease. I don't have any on me today because I haven't been around my truck, but very often I've been covered in grease on my clothes. My wife's made many comments about my clothes and the grease. And I'd always be amazed these guys, 70 years old. They've been out here millions of miles, trucking for 40 years, decades, 50 years. They get out and they look clean. The brand new dollar bill come out of that cat, have any grease on it. And that's what's cool with me. It's a legacy. Even though the times and technologies change, it's a bigger economy than it was when I got into trucking. The economy's way bigger. The economy's going to be way bigger in 20 more years. And there's going to be a lot more change. And, that's part of the fun of it, is getting to watch America change, getting to grow, getting to be a part of the legacy of freight. I think it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. We got Tracy, head of our customer care team, right there, getting in the van, dialed in. But let's see, Mid-America Truck Show. What's your advice out there? Somebody you're talking to a new driver. Somebody said, Chris, I'm getting my CDL. What's your advice? What are you telling them?
Keep it clean. You're the captain of the ship. Don't be pushed by, your customers to do anything unsafe. So a phrase that I used to like was, I'll get there as fast as safety allows. That's the number one thing. At the end of the day, you're the professional driver. Even if it's not your fault, if you're in an accident, you're going to get all the eyes upon you. So you want to obey all the laws that you can. You want to make sure you're doing everything the right way. The way it is these days, new CDL drivers, I tell them, I'm like, kind of position yourself at one company for a while. Stay there, learn everything you can. Don't be jumping and chasing everything. There's enough flashy lights in this industry to make you jump every 5 seconds and go, hey, what are they doing over here? What are they doing over there? Why has this guy got $1 million piece of equipment with chromes and lots of stuff? I want to do that. And that's really cool and all, and it really does, it makes you dream, right? You dream and you want to get those things, but it takes time. I always say trucking is a marathon. It's not a sprint. There are times that you need to move fast, but a lot of times, just slow and easy. And, keep your costs under control, whether you're a company driver or an owner-operator, and even an owner-operator leased to a company, whatever you're doing, just know your costs. Don't get too crazy with the money, and just live a good life.
Let's go. If you can go back 20 years, what would you do different?
Yeah, I tell 20 years ago me to listen a little bit more, slow down a little bit more and thinking. Don't get so upset when they tell you something that upsets you, right? It's just temporary. It probably wasn't even serious that they're not even meaning it. I started with Schneider. Schneider was a really good company to start out. I still think they're a good company today, but they're a big company. Big companies have a little bit of a problem sometimes in the middle. That's what kind of happened. You know, I kind of got mad at some of the middle people and left and went out on my own. Actually, I bought a truck. I bought my first truck within 19 months of being in the industry. I don't recommend that either. I'm not saying you can't succeed. I'm just saying it's really hard to do it. There's more ways to mess up and lose money than to make money in this industry. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say if somebody was telling you right now, "Hey, I'm gonna buy my own truck," what would you tell them?
I'd say think long and hard about it. You know, the big thing for me is, you know, somebody says, I want to own a truck. I say, well, how much are you making now? They tell me. I say, how much you got to start up with? And a lot of times they have nothing. They want to go out and do a lease purchase or something like that. That's a really bad way to start off a business. But it's kind of become the norm within the industry because there's so many lease purchase options out there with zero down, zero interest. It's flashy. I don't recommend that. I'm not saying that you can't succeed that way. I'm just saying that if you're taking home $1,400 a week with the company, that's pretty good pay, and it's going to be hard to replicate that owning your own truck with all of the money going out weekly and to stay on top of it without burning out.
So think long and hard before you want to buy a truck.
If you're going to do it the right way. If you want to stay in business, that is.
Yeah, if you want to stay in business. Well, what else is going on with you, man? What's happening in the Chris Thomas world?
Shoot, I bought that Mac last year off of Jamie Hagan. Got 105,000 miles on it since June of last year. Dude, just getting the kids raised. You know, me and my wife, we have 3 boys. One's out the nest in the Marines. He's 331. We're super proud of that. Second one's graduating school, wants to be a diesel mechanic or a welder. Either one would be a fine choice. And my youngest wants to drive a truck like that because he gets to see the mountains all the time.
Want to see the mountains? Let's go. Yeah, where is your favorite place to drive?
And that's always been a hard thing because I get in the moods where I got a yearning to go to one part of the country, a yearning to go here or there. I've always liked Oregon. I like Vermont. I like Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia. I love the Ohio River Valley. I did some coal power plants there for several years. I'd run up and down the Ohio River Valley everywhere, deliver power plants. I love that area. And I love this country. It's America's big, beautiful nation, and there's so much to see. There's so much that I've seen and so much I have yet to see.
Absolutely. So kind of anywhere is your favorite.
Yeah, I really do. Maybe not so much New Jersey outside of New York City, but we get along.
There we go. All right, we got to break open the can of worms here. What's your thought process? What's your thoughts on the robots? Let's talk robots. What do you got in mind? I don't know if any of them are here. You got any intel? Or I know last year there was some people from Autonomous who are hanging around. What's your thought process with the robots? You say, I mean, that's going to concern you. You said you got a kid who's looking to follow in dad's footsteps. Do you think that there's going to be a career for him?
I do think that there's going to be a career for him. I think that you're going to have a more specialized trucker need for even stuff that I do is not drop and hook, but as the economy grows, you're going to see more trucks. I think you're going to see more autonomous trucks out here. I think where they fit in, you're going to see them doing a lot of boring back and forth shoveling runs. It's kind of an inevitable to a point, but I don't think that they're going to replace the trucker completely. I think they might do away with a lot of those kind of junk jobs that nobody really wants to do anyway. And unfortunately, if you want to be home every night on some of those lanes may be up in the air, but I think there will be a place for the trucker, whether it's in the cab or going into an office. There's not enough truckers who get into into the management of these companies. I've talked to many executives over the last couple of years that, they were in these big companies. They say there's not enough truckers in the staff in these bigger companies. So you kind of got to look at it as a career path. and decide what you want to do. But I think there'll be a place for somebody that wants to work and wants to get out and hustle. I think there'll be a place.
All right, good to know. So you're bullish.
I'm bullish.
So you're
Always be bullish.
yeah, always be bullish on it. Any we got a couple heavy hitters in front of us. Speaking of AI and autonomous, like Hey Bubba and everything they do on big marketing pushes. Who's any companies out here you're thinking about? You're trying to talk to? Who you said you're here to gain knowledge. Anybody specifically you're looking forward to meeting or talking to?
Man, I know a lot of people. Just kind of how I've been. So that's a lot of catching up. Hey Bubba, I don't know, maybe. If it makes sense, it'll work. That's the thing. I think if it works, you'll see it. I think you'll have a place for it. I think it'll fit into some of these companies. I think there's a lot of slop right now with AI. I think there's a lot of hype. But at the same time, you're talking to people who don't know how to code, and now all of a sudden they can code because they don't have to know how to code with AI. They can just talk through what they want to do and develop a program like Trucker G's education app.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive right there. Talked to Kevin Rutherford there. I mean, he's vibe coding. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I do think it's the next revolution, the industrial revolution. It's still kind of early to say what's going to work, what's not going to work. There's companies here today that's been here a year or two, and maybe they're here next year, maybe they're not. Maybe it's a whole new landscape. I think that AI is kind of inevitable, though. They're building data centers all over the country, been doing a lot of projects for that, and we're starting to see a lot of that growth and development there. So I think you're going to see a lot of changes, and hopefully for the good.
Hopefully for the better. So that's good. That's good. Well, what else is on your mind? I'd love to keep riffing with you. It's not every opportunity we get Chris Thomas on the live stream for you to talk and really dive deep. This is one of the deepest thinkers of the industry, who brings up some of the most interesting conversations. You had brought something up. You had a tweet recently that you had brought up. You had sent it in a chat we were in. Something was on your mind about. I'm trying to think of what it is. I might have to take a look, because it was an interesting perspective that you had brought up about people complaining.
Yeah,
people complaining. I want to hear you break into that.
Well, I think complaining is a human trait. Does it do you any good? I don't know. For me, complaining doesn't do a whole lot. And naturally, I'm going to complain, and once in a while, now I'll say it when I do it. But for the most part, everybody is just out here trying to work, they're trying to support their family, they're trying to do better, trying to build a life, they're trying to live life. I don't think the arguing and stuff goes a whole lot. So it gets some interesting discourse and stuff. Maybe it changes things, but there's, for every person that says you can't do something, I can show you 10 people who's doing that. How you say it can't be done, I can show you 10 people that's doing it that way. They're making money. They're making a good living. It's really all mindset. And if you're out there just doing the work, that's why always been my grind and hustle right there.
There we go. Yeah.
Do what it takes.
Doing what it takes. Yes, I found it. Think about a story how this shipper preferred those trucks. What were those trucks that they were talking about?
Yeah, so those trucks, the guys running illegally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so, I heard this guy was talking to a shipper, and went out, took him out, wine and dining him there and trying to get his business. And he was happy with the trucks, and the shippers know. The shipper knew that the trucks, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, but it sounds like he knew that those trucks could get there the next morning. And all the legal companies cannot, because they're following the rules. So the shippers are, from what I see, in some cases, maybe choosing these guys that will definitely get there the next day. They're probably not asking the questions, but, I don't know how well that would hold up in court. That's why I always think it's interesting sometimes is at the end of the day, the industry has been determined by the shippers. It's been determined by the receivers. Trucker, broker, that's all just middle person. That's the middle ground. But at the end of the day, everybody's at the behest of the shipper. That's who we serve. That's who the industry serves. That's why we've had, back in the paper days, that's why everybody stretched their books. They stretched to get the deal done. It's that quiet understanding, can you get the job done? Nobody asks the questions how you got the job done, just can you get the job done?
Mhm.
And that still exists today, even with the digital stuff. It's just unfortunate that it's hurting so many lawful carriers who are trying to abide by the law and follow the rules.
Absolutely. So those shippers. So you think the shippers are in on it when it comes to either undercutting rates? Like they're at the end of the day, they're always going to go with whatever the cheapest option is.
Yeah, I think it's a market. I think at the end of the day, the marketplace, they don't ask the questions why it's that cheap. They don't really care. They just want to get their stuff moved cheap.
Now, speaking of those trucks that we're talking about, I mean, what have you been seeing out there on the road? Like some people are saying that, on TikTok, people are thinking they say that certain truck stops they're at are less full. Other areas got more traffic. Have you seen any enforcement on your end or any kind of changes when it comes to any of the new legislation that's been going on? What's it been like on your front?
I feel like we had a term back in the day called the fly by night trucks. Well, they're back to flying by night because that's when the DOT's home. So you'll notice tonight the trucks that look like they're not really checking their equipment. And you can tell. I mean, if you've been trucking any time, you've been out here, you can kind of just eyeball them and tell which one's running on the up and up and which one's kind of doing some shady stuff. And you can kind of tell. You can, I've heard rumors they're not going through Oklahoma, they're going through Kansas now because Oklahoma's really stepped up enforcement. Wyoming's really stepped up enforcement. So it's interesting the way the market works. And, even the black market, I would say, if trucking is still working and operating every day.
So you're the kind of freight you haul pneumatic tanks. What's the most interesting you've hauled in pneumatics?
I don't know. I laugh and tell a lot of people I just haul dirt or grain, one or the other. Wood pellets to grow mushrooms out of. Plugs.
Plugs to grow mushrooms. What kind
Yeah.
of mushrooms are we talking here?
They make leather out of these mushrooms.
Oh, okay. So these aren't like the fun mushrooms.
No, it's mycelium. It's mycelium. That's kind of the root structure of the mushroom.
And so they're making leather belts out of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Where are these belts manufactured?
I think they're just north of Albany, New York. That's probably one of the more interesting uses of a product. It's like a wood pellet, like you'd see in a Traeger or wood pellet stuff. They use these little, and they, I guess you put the spores there on the pellets and they grow mushrooms. They grow the mycelium there, harvest it. That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat.
I think that is cool. But now you didn't always do pneumatic tanks. You used to do some white glove stuff.
Yeah, so I used to team truck with my ex. We were FedEx Custom Critical for white glove services for several years and done a lot of cool stuff. Artwork, cars, mummies, rockets.
Mummies. So wait, what? Do you need hazmat?
I did have hazmat.
So you have hazmat, but is a mummy considered hazmat?
No,
So a dead body's not hazardous.
no,
How
not
old?
that old.
How old were these mummies?
Egyptian.
Wait a minute. You're telling me in the United States of America you were moving around like Egyptian royalty?
As far as I know, I mean, I'm not sure. Honestly, I say it's mummies, but it was definitely a exhibit for ancient Egypt. So I have an idea of what was in there. I kind of remember looking up the brochure, and I'm pretty sure it said "Come and see 2,500-year-old mummies." So that's what I had. At least one load.
So
Had dinosaur bones too. That's probably the oldest freight I've ever hauled. Was a complete triceratops.
dinosaur bone. And where did you pick up the bones and where was it going?
I picked it up in Los Angeles, took it to New Jersey.
So was it going from were these bones
Going
just
from
discovered?
Going from a museum, going to there was a place in New Jersey that actually does the skeletal framing for the bones, and they were actually preparing the structure so it makes it kind of refurbing it.
So they were going to put these bones together. So you didn't go to the excavation site where they found the
No.
bones. Okay, gotcha. So we're talking some old stuff. So no matter like when we say trucking is everything, Even the dinosaurs get hauled. Freight all kinds.
Great of all kinds.
True fact. But you've hauled some pretty interesting artwork too.
I've hauled some American Gothic's probably the one everybody knows. You know, the farmer and his wife with the pitchfork. You know, standing there. Called that originally. Called some Picasso. Called one out of Las Vegas to Philadelphia out the Bellagio. I did a whole trailer load of Renaissance art. You know, 14th century Italian Renaissance art. It's cool stuff. I mean, it just blows your mind to know you just never know what's out there in the truck.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but when it comes to artwork, and I'm curious what people think about it. But the largest art, you know what the largest art heist was, and it's really the largest property theft case in like history, at least U.S. history, where $500 million worth of artwork was stolen out of I forget the name of the museum. It's named after it's a woman's name. $500 million worth of art was stolen out of a museum in Boston in 1990.
Wow.
And so they never found who stole it. The two possible suspects apparently had died within a year of the theft, but none of the artwork's been found. Now, what's the point of having that artwork if you're not going to show anybody? What's the point of stealing $500 million worth of artwork if nobody knows you have it?
Market manipulation.
Really? So it's manipulating them. So you think it lowers the value of other people's art?
Oh, I think it'd raise the value, right?
Oh, it raised the value of other people's art.
Sure.
So you think it could have been an inside job?
Oh, could be.
It was. It was considered. It was like a New England crime syndicate that apparently is who boosted this art. But if anybody's strapped for time this weekend, again, none of the artwork's been found, and there is still to this day a $10 million reward if you're able to lead to. If you have any evidence or any knowledge of this Boston.
You know, I bet you that stuff's sitting somewhere in a Goodwill store right now, and nobody knows it's safe.
Yeah, nobody has any clue.
No.
Any crazy artifacts? Well, other than that, I mean, we've been riffing for a little while. We're waiting for our boy Ilya Denisenko to come back. But I'd love for you. We got the dancing trucker too, by the way. He's at the booth. He's been dancing every hour on the hour. Here we go. What are your thoughts on the dancing trucker?
You know, I remember John when he come on the scene there, but I told him this is real. At the end of the day, I don't want to fight or do anything. I just want to watch something that makes me laugh. I always laugh at the dancing trucker. He always makes me. So I don't laugh at him. I laugh because he makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy he's a phenomenal character. He still trucks every day. He's home every night. He lives just north of Cincinnati. He gets out there and dances on the street corner, dancing for smiles. Who can be against that?
Yeah, how can you vote against the dancing trucker when he's just dancing for smiles?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I'm trying to think of when he really started coming around. When that started, I feel like it was COVID.
About 12 years ago, he said. Because I remember.
12 years ago.
Yeah, he's probably one of the. I really think he might be one of the oldest social influencers in the trucking space that's still doing it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a couple others. I mean, like think boneheaded truckers and all that stuff still around, but you know, I mean, there's still other Kevin Rutherford, Let's Truck. I mean, I remember used to listen to him on XM radio back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who are some of the people? I mean, you've been driving over here for 20 years. Who are some of your biggest role models, content creators, guys who have like really helped your success? Like who you say, you know what, like this is a guy I learned something from. I took it away, and it's helped make me successful. Who are some of those kinds of people? Whether you met them at Matt's or just in general.
Yeah, I mean, for me, some of the truckers I've known over the years. One of my biggest friends I've learned a lot off over the years is a guy named Keith. Keith's still trucking. He's been driving since like 77, millions of miles, accident free. Really just a base guy. I mean, I just learned a lot about trucking and how to manage my business, my one truck. You know, he's just really smooth, really calm, doesn't get really too excited, but at the same time, he knows when to put his foot down and he needs to do it.
Mm-hmm. What's one thing you've learned from him that you still stick with today, that you still have ridden with?
And he's always told me he made more money with one truck than he ever did with 8.
Really?
That's the old paradigm right there. You make money with 1 or you make money with 10. It might be 100 these days. I don't know.
So he made more money with 1 truck than he did with 8.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of adding more trucks, more stuff. What's insurance look like on your end? Insurance is probably people's biggest cost. It's been really putting people down and out.
It was interesting. I was in that opening breakfast this morning, and they had the guy dressed there talking about it. And, I kind of keep my finger on it here, but insurance companies have been losing money for several years now, which drives up costs. And the problem with that is when you see all of these claims, there's a lot of them because there's a lot of truckers out there doing a lot of dumb things all the time now. Not just U-turns in the road. We're talking about like scraping hits, park collisions, all this stuff, all those little things. $1,000, $1,500, $2,500 claim here and there, that adds up. And that really you got to remember about insurance. It's kind of like socialism in a way. Like we're all collectively paying for it. So that's one thing I see is just we're going to continue seeing price go up with insurance. And when you lower the bar and you just let anybody out there on the road, that's kind of the natural progression. Eastern Kentucky is no different. Good example. Our insurance in Eastern Kentucky is higher than most areas in the country because 50% of our drivers are uninsured. It's an actual fact.
Progressive said this.
No, Progressive didn't say. I'm saying that part.
Wait, so you're saying how many drivers are uninsured?
Eastern Kentucky, there's like 50% of your car drivers are uninsured. My parents were in 2 accidents in their life, and both of their collisions were with uninsured motorists. That's why you look at your policy, you have that uninsured motorist clause on there to cover you just in case you're in an accident. But all those little things like that, they add up.
And that's just in Kentucky car drivers.
Yeah.
So I'd love your thoughts on this story, by the way. This is not breaking news. It's been out for a few days. But a driver unknowingly struck over a dozen bridges in New York. This is a gentleman. A truck driver hauling an overheight excavator on a flatbed trailer struck more than a dozen overpasses along the New York State Thruway without being aware of the damage that he left behind. How does that happen? He did it for 60 miles. He went for 60 miles.
Well, it's nice that they actually caught him because you drive under those bridges all the time and you see where it happens. You'll see that little chunk of concrete knocked out there and you'll see the rebar there. And that's how it happens.
The driver he's 38-year-old Alexander Tarakanovsky. He's from North Carolina. Now, what he was charged with, he's charged with reckless endangerment in the second degree, and then was given 20 traffic tickets related to the incident, including violations of federal commercial motor vehicle safety regulations. He was released with an appearance ticket returnable to the town of Salina Court on April 8th. So what do you think the punishment for this guy should be?
Well, I think he's done truck driving. I'd hope, number one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're getting a whole thing here. Was he insured? Who gave him the load? There's just so many things that go in there. There's going to be a lot of court cases out of that.
I mean, how they say he's unaware. Yeah, there's really no information about what has happened or who the carrier is. I guess we'd have to get the footage. But
I mean, you're talking potentially millions of dollars of damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 60 miles of hitting overpasses. I mean, I'd say that's probably one of the most remarkable stories I've heard this year regarding somebody unknowingly doing, besides the drug busts that have happened recently. What's the craziest thing you've seen out on the road?
Long time ago, I was driving up from Laredo. I was heading over to maybe Sugar Lands, Houston, something like that. I was coming from Laredo, and I was kind of going across the Texas there, the big part, maybe north of Brownsville. And seen this van come up on me, and it was just flying up through there. And so that's odd. That van was really getting it. About that time, that van got a quarter mile ahead of me and just veered off into the dirt. About that time, I see lights flashing. Here comes Border Patrol. That van is going across the field. Here comes 2 Border Patrol agents chasing that van out to that field.
Full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead.
And you were already up by Houston when this happened?
I was probably an hour and a half northeast of Laredo.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So it's obvious that they were on them for something, whether it was drugs or illegal or something like that. I've seen a few chases out here. I've seen some, I was driving along Arkansas one night. I seen 10-foot flames coming out, double stacked Peterbilt. I don't know if that was normal. I feel like probably not normal. Or maybe he'd burned through turbo and he was just pumping out burning oil. You just never know.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of cool things out here. I've seen the Northern Lights out here.
The questionable Northern Lights. Thoughts on the Northern Lights? Please drop in the comments below. By the way, what do you think about the Northern Lights? Are they? You ever wonder where they might actually come from? It's a hot debate every now and then. I think that are we just accepting the Northern Lights for what they are? Or could be. If you're on Twitter, you know exactly where we're going with that one. Don't want to throw too many people off with some of our great inside tropes. But back to the 60-mile story, safety. You like safety. What would be if you were on stage with the progressive guy, or if you were given a pro talks? What would be if you want to improve the safety of the trucking industry? What would be the Chris Thomas, the Indy Trucker plan to increase safety or make the industry safer?
No, I think when you explain to somebody how being unsafe hits them in the pocketbook every time, how can you ignore that?
So money.
Money. Anytime, let's say you're a big part of a fleet, right? You're out there doing unsafe things. Everybody in your fleet may be on the same policy. Maybe they're in a captive insurance policy. That's a really good thing. You want to be in a captive. Get better rates. It don't take too many guys screwing up to knock your whole fleet out. Do you want to be the guy or the guy that's messing it up for everybody else?
Do you want to be? Yeah. Do you want to be that person? Distracted driving seems to be the number one. Distracted driving and fatigue seems to be the number one. I mean, what's something that you would do to get people off their phones? How do we do that? How do we get people? And this is both. This is four-wheelers and truck drivers. I mean, distracted driving has led to an increase. I think it is. It's fatigue and distracted driving. How do we nip it?
What's amazing to me is just watching all these people drive down the road with the phone in their hand, and they got the steering wheel up here, and you can see them as clear as day. That is a humongous fine right now. If you get busted, like a $3,000 fine, I don't care what state you're in. You might, if the insurance company knows about that, you're probably going to lose your insurance, by the way, or you're going to have to be forced off the policy. Like, it's such a no zone. But I see it all the time, and I see everybody do it. It's not just cars, it's trucks, it's everybody. It's occasionally the cops. And don't think you're alone out there. I see what you do down there too. Why? Why can't you just not pick up that phone? You got a hands-free. They're $100, and you can get a hands-free headset. You can talk to your phone. You can say, "Hey, send a text to this person." You don't have to take your eyes off the road. You can drive the whole time. Zero reason for a phone to be in your hand.
So put the phones down. Yeah. Are we headed toward? Do you think that we're headed towards a stage of? Only because I've seen this depending on where you work. Government employees, they go in, they've got to put their phone in a box. And do you think we're headed towards hey, that truck won't turn on until your phone is tucked away in a certain chamber within the truck?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it go that far. I mean, I don't know the statistics of it, but I imagine they have to be way up there.
Now, speaking of which, by the way, if you're watching live, what do you think we need to do to reduce distracted driving? How can we get people to put the phones down? What sort of incentive can we do to do that? For the Indy trucker, what's the next? I mean, what's the future looking like? What are you looking at? People always ask, what's your 5-year plan? And now people ask me that all the time, and I tell them, I joke, I say, but hey, it's Kona, going to Kona, going to Ironman Worlds or something like that. Well, truthfully, 5-year plan is hopefully, have a child or something. But trucking wise, what's the 10-year? Where's the Indy trucker going? When we leave Matt's 2026, what's the next move for Indy trucker? Where are we going? What's the future looking like?
Well, it's about the same as it has been. Just keep on driving. I got maybe, I'm not a young guy anymore, but I'm not an old guy. Focused on retirement down the road. You always got to be planning ahead, saving money for that. I'd like to retire one day. I think that's totally achievable. Um, you know, I love talking trucking, and when I get an opportunity out there, I just keep my head up. Look forward to the next technology. If it works for me, I'll adopt it. If it don't, I won't.
There we go. So you just want to keep grinding. So no, you don't want to add no trucks.
No, I'm totally happy being a one truck guy. I'm leased to a great carrier. I think it's a great, fantastic model for any individual to get out there and look into something like Landstar or even Autumn or any of these small carriers that you can lease onto. I do prefer buying my own truck. I think you should be in a financial situation where you can afford at least a good down payment and afford some breakdowns. I think you should. I really think you should listen to Kevin Rutherford, letstruck.com. Invaluable information.
Actually, I'd love to hear more about Autumn Transport. How long you been with them?
So I've been there since 2010. Autumn was a family company started up by Lowell Reeks back in his wife in the late 70s. I think 1980 might have actually been their first year. It's currently run by CEO Julie is the daughter. Just had a great business partnership with them for a long time. All owner operators or lease operators have actually, if you're going to do a lease purchase program, I think it's a pretty good one. They give you a good as chance as anywhere, I think, to succeed. But I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not. It's still hard. I mean, it's still a business. I tell a lot of people when they're getting into it, I'm like, if they're coming in with zero down, zero money, you're going to have to eat a lot of those costs up front. So, you're going to see a lot of big numbers flowing out while you're getting started up. But, I think after that initial phase, that initial year or so, if you can get the numbers down, and, you're going to have breakdowns. You're going to have to think things that you would have if you went out and bought your own truck. You're going to have all that. You just got to think and plan and decide really if it's the right thing for you. A lot of times I talk to guys and I tell them, I'm like, well, you don't really need to buy a truck. You need Dave Ramsey. You need to learn how to manage your money. I really think that's paramount, and being able to be lean and control your costs. I'm going to say right now, if you have to have $4,000 a month just to live, I don't know if owning a truck's right off the bat a great opportunity, great job, especially in this market. At the same time, it's trucking. I mean, people get into it every day. It's a surprise to me is, I was talking to the owner and she did relate to me that, sometimes the worst scenarios are what they think are sometimes are the greatest successes. So from my perspective, I'm a little bit more risk adverse, but they have given a lot of people a good opportunity there to start up and do a good business.
You've been at Autumn Transport 2010. I mean, we're going on 16 years.
Yeah, I've been there a lot. Been there a bit.
Yeah, I'd say, when a company can retain a driver that long, especially one who's owned their own truck, you really can't go wrong. And now, you mentioned Landstar though. Would you say? Well, it's. I guess it depends on the person. Would you prefer? You like pneumatics, or would you go back to? Landstar does van, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I always wanted to do heavy haul and oversized and all that stuff. I get days where I want to do that. I get tired of the tank washing and all that stuff. But, I just think anywhere you go, you've got to really invest some time there. It costs a lot of money to jump carriers. That's a fatal flaw. I see a lot of guys or gals do is they jump carriers. You got downtime, you got onboarding costs, you got all these different fees associated. Then you got relationship building. I don't care what you're doing, what position you are, if you're a company driver or at least an operator, if you're an actual owner operator, you're building a relationship with the people you work with, whether that's dispatch, the customers, that's what you got to really be focused on is building that business connection. And you need to be able to trust who you're working with to get you through.
Absolutely, 100%. Like switching gears a little bit, actually, because we got some time again. And if you're by at Mid America Truck Show, come on by the live stream. Feel free to come hang out. Me and Chris are just going to talk trucking. That's the whole point of this. It's Talk Truck and Talk Mats, by the way. There's no rhyme or reason behind the live stream. We're just trying to be there for anybody else who can't make it to Mid-America Truck Show. You can see a little bit about us being here and what we're up to and what we're getting into and what we're talking about. So whether you're on Instagram, tuning in, what have you. But I wanted to switch it up. I mean, we're looking at the raging debate going on between brokers and carriers, and I know that there's a lot of talk with liability, with broker liability. I mean, what are your thoughts on brokers being held liable for selling freight to bad players, bad carriers? What's your thoughts? How do you think that should play out?
I don't think we'd even be having this conversation if the FMCSA would enforce the rules on the books.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
The laws are all there, but the government does not enforce the laws as it is. So people demand somebody enforce them. So now it's become broker liability. And yeah, sometimes I feel like that even. I feel like, there should be some kind of due diligence. I think they're very careful, not to cross that line, because there are lawyers out there who are more than willing to take them to court and get money out of it.
Mhm.
And sometimes it feels like that when you see the atrocities we've had on our highways over the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be, and it seems like there's some sort of gap there. It's just like every couple of weeks, there's this new fatality. There's this new XYZ, this new U-turn, this new somebody on a shoulder, something seemingly going wrong. And I think it's only a matter of time before, that's what happens. Eventually some sort of drastic measure gets taken that doesn't solve the problem, like the ELD, which is supposed to increase safety, which has led to an increase in accidents. Now, we've got FMCSA here at MATS. You think FMCSA needs to enforce. Now, FMCSA isn't an enforcement agency. They're an administrative, regulatory committee. So how do they get DOT? What is it going to take for DOT to enforce FMCSA regulations?
I don't know, because I'll be in a construction zone and the trucks are in the wrong lane. They're supposed to be in the left lane. They're in the right lane. They're speeding, and there'll be cops sitting right there in the middle, and they just watch them go by. No idea.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where we're at. I mean, we're at this point where we have the laws on the books. We have an enforcement arm that ain't apparently not doing as much as they should. And so you're going to end up with more regulation, unfortunately. That's just kind of how things work. I mean, I don't like it, but that's what's going to happen. Hopefully, eventually we'll change minds and change things. I think there are some good people out there, working on the problems at hand. Will any of it actually do any good? I hope, but we'll see.
Let's go. Big shout out to Dana dropping into the live stream. He said he was trying to make it to Mats, but he got some good freight this weekend. And actually, a couple drivers I was talking to, they said they make a little bit extra money when Mats is going on. And Ralph, he doesn't miss dealing with brokers at all himself. Appreciate you guys tuning into the live stream. Do have what's it called? I was going to ask you, speaking of DOT, when was the last time you got a DOT inspection?
Maryland, 2 years ago, coming out of customer, I got a level 2, passed it. Last time I failed the DOT inspection was New York State 5 years ago. I didn't have a backup lamp on my tractor.
Backup, and that's an out of service?
No, it was a fixed ticket. Last out of service was in the States was Chafed Airlines in 2008. I was young and didn't really know the definition of Chafed Airlines. Knowing now, I would probably argue with it a little bit. You have to have cord showing. And honestly, at the time, I told the guy, it's like, it looks like you just took your pocket knife and slid a little bit off. He didn't give me the number of the people to come and fix the truck. I think it was an inside deal. Don't tell me that those don't go on. I know they do. But, I've had very few problems. I've had a few fix on lights. I've never really had a serious out of the service. I've never had a speeding violation. So pretty clean record.
But yeah, so last recent one you said was in September?
Oh, no, 2 years ago in Maryland, I got it.
So it's been 2 years since your last DOT inspection.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's our issue when it comes to that enforcement.
There's a lot of trucks. And I think the metrics, they look at our safety scores. That they do use the CSA to look and see who they should pull in more often. We get bypassed at scales a lot. Even when I'm up close to gross legal weight, I get bypassed a lot. So pretty fortunate. Autumn's got a good safety record, I think, right now. We've got a great safety department, safety guy in charge. So in fact, he's here at this show. I've got to find him somewhere.
Who's that? Your safety guy?
Yeah.
Your safety guys here.
We'll have to bring him by the pod here.
Yeah, we might need to get some safety people to come by and come on the live stream. Either way, which again, we're going to be live every single day at Matt's. I know tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. We went a little bit later today for the show to start, but we're going to be live tomorrow from 1 to 3. Yeah.
I'm going to hop, y'all. Take it real, be easy.
Oh, you're going to hop. You're telling me.
Hop.
Chris Thomas is signing off. He's going to go enjoy the rest of the show. I'm going to walk this one out myself as we get rolling. I was hoping Ilya could come back, but actually, if you can get Gord to come over for a few minutes, if he's able to get pulled away, we've got Gord McGill over here. He's at the Truck Parking Club booth. He is selling his book, End of the Road, which is like it's technically an academic type. It's an academic / memoir that you can pick up. It goes into a lot of the history of the trucking industry, a little bit of deregulation on forward, what's going on. And I think he's actually making his way over now to demo it, to preview it. Here he is. He's coming on. So if you're hanging out, stick around. We're going to talk End of the Road. Mike, cue up real quick. Let's get it going.
Are we live?
We're live. We're already live.
All
Dude.
right.
Introduce yourself. Who are you?
All right. Hey, thanks for having me, Michael Lombard of Lombard Trucking. Gord McGill here. I'm a frequent guest on the Truck Parking Club live feed every year here at Matt's.
Let's go.
It feels like if I didn't do this, I would be missing something.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get it. And it's always something new every year.
Yeah, man. And something new this year is my book. And so End of the Road, Inside the War on Truckers, just dropped this week. Official release date was March 24th. And the kind guys here at Truck Parking Club gave me a little space to sell the book today. So if you're coming down to Matt's, come get a signed copy, $25. And it's a whole overview of what's going wrong in the trucking industry from a trucker's perspective. It cites a lot of other academic work, talks about all the issues. And I use a little bit of memoir. I use stories from my own career and from the history of family companies like Mike's as jumping off points to talk about all this stuff for the book. It's selling like hotcakes. It sold 2,000 copies on pre-sale alone. And, there seems to be a lot of buzz around it. So here we are at Matt's selling it.
Yeah. When did the idea of writing the book come? Like, did you always want to write it, or what kind of sparked, I need to write this?
Well, I think it was just wanting to get my thoughts out. So I started writing, as you know, I have Substack, and I've written at a few places. I've even written for Freight Waves. I've been writing on the side, and this new publishing company approached me and said, hey, man, like, you're talking about the trucking industry in ways that are not necessarily present in the rest of the media, and you seem to know quite a bit about it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I've been driving truck for almost 30 years, so I would hope I picked something up. So they asked me to write down a proposal. If I was to write the book, I gave them a proposal, and they said, let's go. Gave me a little advance, and I spent the last year working on it. And yeah, it's live. It's the thing now. 300 pages of intel on what's become of the North American truck driver and whether or not it's the end of the road.
Whether or not it's the end of the road, which we'll have to wait and see by the end of the book, and if it is. Don't give away any endings.
No. And some questions don't get answered. They just beget more questions. But what the nice thing about Matt's is, like, Matt's is the 1% of 1% of truckers, the guys that are out there getting it done. Lots of independents here. Lots of people that understand the human scale of operating on the roads today. This is not the kind of party for spreadsheet brains. This is for the real ones. And my book was written about the real ones and how we keep the real ones around.
Exactly. Well said. Yeah, the 1% of the 1%. We're big on the 1%ers here. So we mentioned these issues in taillights. We talk about some stuff from especially when the English language. The ELP enforcement really started coming out, and a lot of these new regulations. We've stayed on top of it as best we can, and this book kind of goes into why and how these issues started coming around, especially from the safety aspect. So where can people find your book?
So yeah, I'm here at Matt's all weekend, and if you can't make it to Matt's, you can go to my publisher's website, creedandculture.com. You can get it on Amazon. If you're in Canada, you can buy it at indigo.ca. If you're in Australia, you can get it at Angus Robertson Books. If you are somebody that listens to your books while you're going down the road, just like you listen to the Voice of Gord podcast and the Lombard Trucking Show, you can get my book at audible.com, or I think it's Libro something. There's another company. So yeah, lots of options. If you see me around, I live in Ithaca, New York. Come to my house. You know, Chris Thomas comes to my place all the time.
Let's go, Chris Thomas, who was just on here. Anything else about the book you want to tell us about? Anything on your mind?
Well, I think it's a call for like a more human level understanding of this job. You know, like the trucker has been this archetype in American society, and it's also a job, and it's also something very meaningful to the rest of the economy. Like, where are you without truckers? Are they going to replace us with autonomous vehicles? Are they going to displace us with insourced labor first? Are the spreadsheet brains ever going to get their heads out of their asses and understand that we're dealing with people here and not just simply machines? I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I do ask a lot of questions in this book that will make you think about it in a more humane fashion and understand what it's like to be a trucker in 2026.
There you go. So this book's not just for drivers. This is
Oh, hell no. It's for everybody.
The layman, anybody, you know, because there's a lot of terms in trucking that people don't get. You try to talk, like, once you mention lease purchase to somebody, they're like, oh, all of a sudden it just blows over their head. So this is for the
There's a lot of examples, and I hate to, say the term explainer, but yes, anybody can read this book and they will understand what I'm saying.
Perfect. Well said. Well, we're stoked to have you here and stoked to promote.
Oh man, I'm stoked to hang out with such great people, man. Thanks to Truck Parking Club. You guys are solving the actual shortage of parking. Despite what the haters have to say, it gives you options, and I love to see people have options.
Absolutely. Freedom. More options is more freedom.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. More options, more gears.
More options.
More gears.
More gears. 13 minimum.
Oh, absolute minimum. Bare minimum.
13 minimum. Okay. I didn't know what you preferred out there.
I mean, I like having an 18 speed. It's application specific. You know, trucking's very diverse. You could be hauling anything, but territory, weight of load, and application. These are all things that we have to consider. We can't just make one truck for everybody like our regulations kind of push us towards, which is another thing. I talk about all the stupid regulations in the book. I talk about the trucks themselves. Chase Barber from Edison Motors makes an appearance in the book, and lots of great people. Lots of people from FreightX, Truck Parking Clubs there. Michael and Chastity Rayner, who've got a truck parking club location in Texas, who are trying to bring the old school vibe back to their own little truck stop. So
is that Booker's Dude Ranch?
Booker's Dude Ranch is in the book.
Yeah, big shout
out Michael and Cassidy Rayner.
Yes, if you're in East Texas, Booker's Dude Ranch, that is the best place you could probably park right now.
Yeah,
nationwide, without a doubt. Gloss over your career real quick. I mean, we're here. Gord's probably one of the saltiest truckers on deck. I mean, gloss over your career. I mean, you came from it.
Well, I'm not going to gloss it over, but I'll give you the quick little TLDR. I've had my CDL since 1997. I drove around Hamilton, Ontario at night, driving shunt truck, loading trailers, coils. When I was at night after school, when I was still in high school, did U.S. OTR up into all 48 lower states, up into all 10 provinces and 3 territories in Canada. Hauled a lot of fuel in Alberta. Ran the ice roads for 4 seasons. Did a spell driving road trains in Western Australia. Hauled logs in New Zealand. So I got around a little bit.
Yeah, you've been around a little bit.
And I still don't know that much. There's always so much more to learn. One of the things about trucking is there's always something new.
It never. Well, that's one of the first things I heard getting into it is once you thought you've known it all, you hang it up.
Oh no, there's always something more. I mean, you want to talk about another book? I've never done bed bugs, like hauling furniture in people's homes. There's a really great book by a guy named Finn Murphy called The Long Haul, which tells it's his life story about how he got into moving furniture and all the philosophies he developed from moving people's households. Fantastic book.
The Long Haul.
The Long Haul.
Finn Murphy. I think you've mentioned him before. I think I've read some of his stuff because he does other writing.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, man. Once you start writing all the research and stuff, I got to get back to my pile of books. Shout out Craig Fuller, Moving the World. That's the book I'm working on right now, trying to get that finished. I'm going to get it back on my show, the Voice of Word podcast.
You got a second book you're writing.
No,
Oh, Craig Fuller's writing a book.
Craig Fuller wrote a book. It's out.
Oh, it's already out.
Yeah, Moving the World.
When did that come out?
November.
Oh, it just came out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
yeah,
not
a few
too
months
late.
ago. No, you got time.
Yeah.
You got time.
The internet's ever so distracting. I had no idea. The guy.
No, you're too busy running triathlons, man. Hey, have you? Okay, listen. So
True.
very famously on your videos, you're shouting at people, talking about Napoleon, talking about epic battles and the history of naval warfare, and encouraging truckers to be better. You gotta like have something that like holds the pages for you while you're training for triathlons, man, and Ironmans.
I do. Yeah, I need some. What I might do
Maybe
actually.
there's audiobooks, man. Hey, Craig Fuller, have you got like Moving the World on audiobook yet? Lombard needs it so that while he's training, your history of how everything in this world moves can get into this man's mind. And then he can start yelling at people about it and then sell more books for you. Get on it.
Exactly. And I can't wait to take some information from End of the Road
Yeah.
and scream about it in videos.
Yeah, especially your own family, man. Lombard Brothers Trucking figures very prominently in chapter 2 or 3 of the book. Chapter 3. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my dad. Yeah, my dad's very excited in it. It's nice, and it's. I think one of the most honorable things is that in the citation section, it's my grandfather's name. Like it was in there. That definitely gave some goosebumps to know that he still speaks after the grave.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
He has
Oh,
once again
yeah,
still has a voice.
Yeah. Nicky Lombard lives on in infamy
Yeah.
via this book. Go read it. End of the Road, Inside the War on Truckers. Get it now.
Get it now. Creating culture anywhere. Amazon, right?
Yeah, Amazon.
Amazon, anywhere you can get it. Barnes and Noble soon.
Yeah. It's going to be in brick and mortar stores.
That's what we want. Yeah, we want
Yeah.
to be able to pick
Go,
up.
go bug your local independent bookstore and say, get me this book. Spread the love. They'll take the cut. Even if they order it from Amazon, they'll get their 10% and you help your local economy.
There you go.
All
Well
right.
said.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Man,
Thanks for contributing to the book.
Absolutely.
Thanks for keeping it real, brother.
We love keeping it real at Truck Parking Club. We love
Yeah.
getting after it. And Gord's here selling the book. Where are you going to be tomorrow, though? In case if you're not here today.
Tomorrow, I have to spread a little bit of my own love. Tomorrow, I'll be with the guys at American Truckers United and quite possibly be back here on Saturday. We'll see what happens.
ATU booth. You know their booth number or no?
I haven't got, man, I've been stuck here.
We don't know
I've got
booth
to-
numbers, but American Truckers
'em up.
United is here.
Yep.
Look them up. They're at Mid American Trucker. We're inside 37223. We got Tiny Trucker Tim outside. Well, I don't know if that's his name yet. We got the 78 International Transstar outside. Come see us. We're going to be here at Mid America Truck Show all weekend. We'll be live again tomorrow, 1 to 3 p.m. Call your friends if you're bored. If you got FOMO, let's go. If you're at the show, come on the live stream. Other than that, guys, stay safe. Keep the hammer down. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
And get into the road.
Happy
the book.
trails always.
Let's go.